Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel and welcome back to the vlog.
What's happening? We just wanted to catch you guys up on what we've been doing the last couple months because it's been a while since we've checked in.
Yeah, I think we last checked in at the start of Nicaragua.
That was our second country.
Yeah.
We are now in our 8th month.
8th month?
Or that. Yeah, we want to catch you up on the Dominican Republic, Panama, and Peru.
Okay, so while we were in the DR, we partnered with Mission of Hope, which Mission of Hope has a huge base in Haiti, but due to everything that's going on there right now, teams aren't able to go there. But they have a new base in the DR, and they're trying to make it, make it self-sustainable like the one in Haiti is.
So a little bit of our day-to-day ministry there. When we first got told that we were going to the DR, we got told what our ministry would be, and we got told it would be mainly evangelism. And for a lot of us that kind of did not sound great because of the experiences that we've had with evangelism, either doing it ourselves or being taught in it or seeing other people do it. It's just always left a bad taste in our mouth. But this got completely re-changed, reworked. Our hearts and our minds got changed towards what true evangelism actually is while we were in the DR.
Yeah, so their approach to evangelism is truly like making relationships with people first. So Mission of Hope's approach to evangelism was very different than most of us have been experienced in the past. Their approach was definitely like making relationships first and foremost with the people, and then once you know who they are, what their name is, stuff about them and their lives, then that allows you to know where they need life spoken to. So our weeks were set up the same. On Monday, we would spend half of our time in a school. That was mass chaos.
But so fun.
Yeah, but it was so good. And then in the other half of Monday, we would do evangelism in the area. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we would. And Friday? Yeah. We would partner with one local pastor and go into their community, and they would just walk us around, and we would get to talk to really whoever the Holy Spirit led us to. And so we were able to just, if we needed 30 minutes and that's it, that's the time that we had. But if we needed to sit down and have a 2-hour conversation, they welcome that as well.
A big lesson that we learned the hard way in the DR too was it's really hard to go out and do ministry and love people well when you are not rested and when you are not filled by the Lord first. In the DR, that was our first time where it was evangelism pretty much every day of ministry, and so it gets tiring, it gets exhausting, and going out and talking to people every day, sometimes everybody can relate to this, you just don't really want to talk to people. But that's what we were called to do, and so we were there to do that. But by the end of the DR, our team and our squad was so burnt out because it was our first learning experience of how to fully be filled by the Lord and rest in Him well on Sabbaths, on our days off, and to choose Him and just resting in moments where you don't really want to rest, but you know you need to. And if you don't rest, you will not be filled and you won't be as prepared for ministry.
So something that blew me away about the DR was every time that we pulled up to a house, one of our translators would knock on the door and just be like, "Hey, can we come in?" And I don't know that there was ever one time that they said no.
We never got turned away.
They actually did the exact opposite. They invited us in, they gave us their chairs and just wanted to sit and talk with us. And so that was just really eye-opening to me. Like me trying to put myself in their shoes of if a foreigner that didn't look like me, didn't speak the same language as me, walked up to my house and knocked on my door, would I be willing to let them in, not knowing anything about them, anything that, like if they want something, yeah. And so that was just incredible to see again and again and again during the DR, is just how hospitable these people were, even even though some of them were in really tough situations.
All right, now we're going to talk to you a little bit about Panama. Panama was our Ask the Lord month, so it meant we went into Panama with no ministry host, no set in stone host from Moral Grace, basically. And so it was a lot of prayer, a lot of communication going into Panama and seeing what the Lord has for us and what doors He opened. And right since we landed in Panama, since we stepped foot, it was crazy to see the way that God moved and opened so many doors and gave us so many opportunities and just put us in contact with so many incredible people that loved Him and that instantly loved us because we were all part of His family.
So, like Jimmy said, we didn't have a set ministry host going into Panama, but we ended up getting taken in by a group of missionaries that are originally from the United States. They got there to Panama a day before we did, and they left a day after we did. And so it's definitely just all the Lord's timing and His hand was in all of it.
All right, you guys know who you are. Shout out to you, to Philip, to Will, to Rachel, to the Jerrys, the Gordons, to Ross, to Angela. We really appreciate you guys more than we could even put into words. Your love and your care for us. It's so touching and so overwhelming that we didn't know how to accept it. You guys realized that really quick. But we miss you and we're praying for you. We are so thankful for you.
Thank you for literally taking us in. Y'all, they took us in, they gave us some bed to sleep in, they fed us things that we hadn't had in months, and just really cared about us and our well-being before any ministry happened.
Alright, so we got to do a ton of different things while we were there, and one of them was an English camp, and their team from all the people we just mentioned, their team from North Carolina was also there with us, so that was incredible to get to be a part of that community for that week as well. But we got to do an English camp in a school there, and there were about 700 kids, and when they first told us that, we were like, there's no way, that's not possible. We walked in the auditorium, there was for sure 700 kids. But that was really fun. Was that 4 days? 3 days? It was 4 days of putting on some classes for them and playing sports with them and sharing Jesus with them, and it was just really, really fun.
Yeah. We also went to 2 different indigenous tribes while we were there that a group that we just mentioned has been going and making relationships with these people for several years, and so we were able to just go and be a part of that. We went to La Reserva, and to get there we had to drive probably like 4 hours across 4 rivers that we drove through. One time we got stuck sideways. Shout out to Will. And then to get actually into their village, we had to either walk across or ride in a canoe across.
A river?
Yeah, a river. And then there we stayed a couple of nights. We loved on them and the children, and
watch movies together, put on a movie night.
Did devotionals with them, and really just loved them and showed them that we're here because God first loved us and we don't want anything from you. And so it was just a cool way to keep building relationships with them. And then the other indigenous tribe was Gamboa, and to get to Gamboa we had to get in a boat and go across kind of part of the Panama Canal, like a little leg out of it. And it was so cool. They just invited us into their home and cooked meals for us, and we were able to just hang out and talk and chat for a couple of hours. And we did a church service, and we worshiped in both English and Spanish, and it's just so special and so cool to be a part of.
We have moved to another quiet location. We want to talk to you a little bit about Peru. We were in Peru for a month and a half doing ministry. Our team was in San Miguel, Lima, Peru, and so in a big city, and that was the first time for us in 8 months. So it was just already very different from the start. But we were partnered with an organization called Ramas, and they partnered us with different churches throughout our 5 weeks of doing ministry there. I'm not gonna lie to you, we're not here to sugarcoat things. Peru was really hard. With it being our 8th month on the race, 7th to 8th, getting partnered with a new church each week was really exhausting and was really tiring to continually have more and more change when we've already had countless changes for the last 8 months. And so it was very difficult to continue to have similar conversations each week, trying to just to get to know each other. And then once we kind of get to know the people that we are working with, that we're partnered with, that we're doing ministry with, we got switched to another host. And so it was really challenging on that end.
It was also really hard because the first church that we were with is the first time having a missionary group. And so we were kind of like their guinea pigs. And so we had to kind of walk them through and teach them how to do things, which was a good thing. And I'm glad that we were able to be a part of it, but it also just added another layer of difficulty. And we had to continue to have those conversations, like Jamie was saying, for the first 3 weeks over and over and over again about just little things about like what we've learned about what works about evangelism versus kind of what they were trying to do and go about it. And so that disconnect was just kind of difficult.
Something really, I got very humbled by this, and it took till after and processing and realizing, but it is such an honor to get to serve God, and this part of serving Him and being His vessel was tilling the soil. So it was doing the hard work that you don't see the fruits from, which it's just very humbling, because it just shows us our true role is really just to serve God with our hands open. And whatever He has us doing, we're there for a purpose, and we're doing it for His glory and not for ours, and not for literally anything of us. And so it was really hard, but there was so much growth that has come from this last month in Peru. With all the difficulties, we've learned to communicate better. We've learned to stand up for what we believe, even though we're young and we're having to stand up and talk to people that have been walking with the Lord a lot longer. It was just really cool to get to be led by the Spirit and follow what we are being told by the Lord to do, and being able to communicate that in like a loving, respectful, kind way, so it's received well, but also so there's space for them to communicate back with us how they're feeling. So it was a really good learning process, but very, very difficult, but a really good learning process looking back on it.
Yeah, it was a good process of finding that balance between like what our non-negotiables are, and like having to draw a very hard line of no, we will not do that because X, Y, and Z, but also understanding when we need to give and being willing to die to ourselves, even if it's in a situation that we wouldn't normally put ourselves in, but doing it anyway because that's where the Lord has us and that's how He wants to move.
We really just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the support and the encouragement that you all have given both of us. Some of you might not know Kayla, some of you might not know me. Hey guys. But it is truly so encouraging and uplifting, and just I can't even express how much it means to me when people reach out to me and tell me that you're praying for me, or just encourage me, or literally anything like that, because they're hard.
Yeah.
And this has been a long journey, and I don't think I expected it to be as hard as it is. And so seriously, every single message, every single encouragement, every prayer, it brings me to tears knowing that my family across the world, my brothers and sisters, my friends, everybody's supporting me and encouraging me. And it makes it so much easier on the days that are really difficult, knowing that somebody is covering me at home. And it's just, it is so touching. And it's a part of community that I have never experienced before. One, because I've never asked for it, and I've never liked to kind of depend on people and just step out there in vulnerability and be like, hey, can you pray for me for this? And so there's nothing other than to say than thank you guys so much for loving us so well and supporting us so well. We also would love to be able to be praying for you and return the favor. So let us know how we can be praying for you. And yeah, whatever you want covering for.
Let us know.
Yeah, we would absolutely love to get to do that for you as well.
All right.
Deuces.
Jesus.